A very busy news day here at Fox News. We have another Fox News alert to bring you on the massive manhunt that's taking place in northern Illinois at this hour for 3 suspects who are wanted in connection with a deadly police shooting that happened today. The officer was found in what's being described as a marshy area. He was stripped of his gun and other equipment that may include mace or pepper spray. A search of that area is now underway with police using dogs and also helicopters to search for those 3 male suspects. David Lee Miller is following all the breaking news developments live from our New York City newsroom. David, what do we know?
Heather, the officer was killed this morning in Fox Lake a little bit before 8 o'clock this morning. This incident began to unfold, according to authorities, at 7:52. That's when an officer radioed in that he was with 3 suspects. He described 2 of them as white males and 1 as a black male. He was with these suspects when he was on the radio. Suddenly, the radio communications ended. Backup was sent to the location, and the backup officer found this other officer had been shot and wounded. The officer died a short time later. We are told now that, as you mentioned, a massive search is still underway for these 3 suspects. Schools in the area are on lockdown. Residents have been told to remain inside. Commuter rail service has been disrupted. Just a few moments ago, Heather, I talked to a local business not far from where the shooting took place. The business told me that there is what he described as extreme police activity now taking place. The person I talked with said that he believed, based on his own personal observation, that the police activity was moving in the direction of what he described as downtown Fox Lake. The authorities tell us that the 3 suspects that are being sought are believed to now be on foot, but there's still a great many unknowns. This, as a massive search at this hour, continues. But we do know tragically that 1 Fox Lake, Illinois police officer was shot and killed this morning. Heather?
All right, David Lee Miller live for us in our New York City newsroom as we look at some helicopter pictures coming in from the northern Chicago area. And you can see just as the grass just blows all around. I'm from that area, from northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. And I just want to bring you a little context what we're talking about here. This is a suburban area, but also somewhat of a rural suburban area as well. It is not considered to be a high crime area. David Lee Miller just mentioned that those men would be on foot. Those men would certainly stand out in that area. David Lee, thank you so much. We'll check in with you later as we get it. Dan Bongino is a former New York City police officer and a Secret Service agent. He joins me now on the phone. Dan, I want to say to you, our hearts and prayers go out to all law enforcement officers at this hour. This is, I believe, the 4th police officer who's been killed in the line of duty in the last week alone. What sticks out for you about what we know of this story so far and the search?
Well, there's a couple of factors here that are going to play into this. The first one being that being in a marshy type area can actually assist these search dogs that obviously use their noses to pick up the scent. Scent tends to hover close to the ground in these pockets of air, and it can get caught in that area, and it can linger a little while longer. So that's one positive factor for the search. Your enemy there is concrete when you have dogs, so that may help a little bit. The other thing, I was just listening to you talking to the reporter there. Mm-hmm. The fact that he's headed towards that they're headed towards a population area, the downtown, seems kind of strange. I think if you were trying to get away from police officers, you would avoid population areas. But, at this point, after engaging in such a horrific crime, they're probably not thinking straight anyway.
Yeah, and Dan, you never know. They may have some family or some friends in the area, and they're looking for help or some sort of a getaway car.
That's a good point.
This is on the border of Wisconsin. I would imagine, I would hope at some point, officials there would be involved as well.
Yeah, this is going to be an all hands on deck. From my experience with the NYPD and as a federal agent with the Secret Service, when one of the brothers or sisters in law enforcement are injured or shot, this is an all hands on deck. Jurisdictional issues go out the window. It's not an issue of, well, cops from other states don't want to cross into the border. It doesn't work that way. This is the kind of thing where there's a clear and present danger to public safety that overrides a lot of these kind of turf fights, these parochial fights that would happen on a normal day. That doesn't happen. So these people are going to be caught, now, I would think, pretty quickly.
I certainly hope so quickly. We're seeing sort of a convergence of two big police-related stories this week, and I'm wondering if you think there is a common thread. One, we have the anti-police rhetoric, and some people say, nah, that has nothing to do with the police officer deaths and shootings that have been taking place in this country. But also there's another story, and that is that crime is on the rise, murders, in fact, in large cities. Now, this is a suburb of the Chicago area, so we're not talking about right in the city proper of Chicago. But do you see a common thread in these stories, in a sense?
Heather, I do, and it gives me no joy in saying this, but I would have proudly given my life for the President of the United States as a Secret Service agent. That was our job. That's what we do. No one was looking for a pat on the back. But the man's been a complete disgrace when it comes to dealing with police officers, and it really gives me no joy in saying that. I know people tend to engage in hyperbolic statements here, but it's just the truth. I mean, how many people are going to have to die? How many police officers before President Obama has that sister soldier moment President Clinton had, and he comes out and says, enough is enough? We can have a respectful conversation, a dialogue in a free society about the role of policing, liberty, and values, investigations into use of force incidents. But once people cross the line and start marching on a state fair in Minnesota screaming pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, where's the President of the United States here?
We do need to say something, and lots of law enforcement officers across the country are saying that we as the American public need to stand up and support our law enforcement officers. The President of the United States has said something along the lines of this kind of activity is a complete disgrace. I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but Dan Bongino, thank you so much for your service to our country and your perspective today. Dan, thank you.